Hello and welcome to today's video. Now in today's video I'll be taking a look at basically three stocks and the market as a whole, what news will affect it. Now the three stocks I've chosen to look at is Kotak Mahindra Bank, Sun TV and Bharat Petroleum. Both three are in different phases of the charts and it will be interesting to see how they'll perform in the coming days and weeks. Now first let's take a look at what news will affect the markets as a whole. Now on that front, I believe there is not much on the domestic front that will affect the market as a whole. This is most of the news coming out on the domestic front is more stock specific, like the results and all that. So that will affect, let's say, ICICI Bank stock results will naturally affect ICICI Bank, and it will cause a bit of skepticism in other bank results or optimism depending on how most people gauge it. But it will not affect the market as a whole. Now, the only factor which I believe will affect the market as a whole this week is the monetary policy decision. This is as Jerome Powell will have to make that announcement on May 1st, and I believe he will maintain his hawkish bias and will try to downplay the rate cut speculations. This is as he had done a huge build-up in the previous meetings, and now he'll have to start downplaying it, as whatever it is, the bottom line is that Jerome Powell has to head into the monetary policy meeting knowing that there is no more room for rate cuts due to the current data. This is as the inflation numbers have been stickier than he or the whole committee anticipated. So that I believe will affect the market as a whole, and I believe most of the effect will be seen the day before the announcement, as this is something which is nearly certain that there will be no rate cuts, and then there will be another 20-30% of the reaction post announcement. But no, as someone who's day trading the Indian market, most of that post thing will be via gap up or gap down, however people see it, and will not be leave much for day traders post announcement. However, pre the announcement, I believe the market will give us good swings due to the expectations which are there that there is no more rate cut. Now, when we come on to the three stocks we are covering today, the first I'll cover is Kotak, then I'll cover Sun TV, and then the Bharat Petroleum. Now, when we take a look at Kotak Mahindra Bank is a stock I've covered many times via articles and also via the video. However, the last time I looked at Kotak Mahindra Bank via video was when Uday Kotak had exited the company, and I had said that this is going to be a problem for Kotak in the coming weeks and months. And due to that, when I covered that video, I said that the two factors which are going to affect Kotak's share price. Number one is that the founder has exited, so that's a huge hit, and so the next guys will have to be either very capable or they will cause a bit of a shake-up. Number two, if you look at Kotak Mahindra Bank's share price in the weekly and monthly time frames, you will see that for a very long time Kotak Mahindra Bank has not gone anywhere. It has just been range bound, basically doing a self-entertainment journey. Now, when I covered it last, I said that in the medium term, I believe we will be falling to the support at 1640. This is there is too much resistance, especially at 1830. Now, that is exactly how things have played out. This week, Kotak Mahindra Bank, last week, Kotak Mahindra Bank went and fell from 1840 to 1602 rupees. This is the first basically opened at around 1640 and then had a further fall to 1600. So that speculation of mine on the medium term has played out, as in the coming weeks it did fall to that. So now what do I expect next from Kotak Mahindra Bank? Now when I look at the chart, whether I look at it on the daily chart or the weekly chart, the important support zone is now between 1550 and 1575. So if we break the low of last week, which is 1602, then we'll be heading to this support zone. This support zone, I believe, will cause a dead cat bounce to form and try to take us back up. However, basically, I believe that there is a high likelihood in the coming sessions we will be visiting this support zone, and it's going to be very critical for it to hold. This is if this support zone does not hold, then things will be the fall will be rather steep and it will be quick. But how I expect it to play out, I expect us to fall to this support zone, have a dead cat bounce, and then resume the downtrend. And if we break on the second downtrend 1550, then we'll be basically heading down to the support at 1460. That will be the next target on the medium term. However, it will be very important to see how basically the index behaves at this point. How the stock behaves at this point, and this is very important for the equity as of now. Now the next one I'll be looking at is Sun TV. Now Sun TV is also one I've covered before in the articles, and I had said that I'm bullish on it around this point, and I had shared that I already was holding the stock, and I'm still holding the stock. Now Sun TV is one that I believe will do very well in the coming weeks. Now why do I say that? Now when we look at Sun TV, when I covered it last, my focus was on this bullish bar, and I said a break of it will take us towards this resistance, and that's exactly how it is played out. We broke the bullish bar and we went to this. Now the key hurdle for Sun TV is going to be 674. So when we look at the indicators and everything, then I believe in the coming days Sun TV will first trade between the support at 645 and 674, forming a sort of a box range move. Why I believe that is, number one, the trend catcher indicator has just popped up above zero, but it's pretty wide right now, so that will have to basically, that sideways move will help a bit of that narrowing to happen, and that will cause the thing to have another explosion basically once it breaks 674 to go to 710 and 735. The second factor is that the 20-day moving average is crossed above the 50, but is not yet able to cross above 200, as there is still a decent amount of gap between the two. So there'll have to be a catch-up. So how will that catch-up work? It will have to be via a sideways move between 645 and 674. So this range will play out for a few days, after which the trend catcher will have basically readjusted, and the moving averages will have readjusted, and the volume build-up will have come more bullish than it currently is, already very bullish, and that will take it from 674 to 710 and 735. So overall, how I expect Sun TV to trade, a break of 674 takes you to 710 and 735. On the support front, 645 and 625 are the two important supports. Until it reaches 625, I will not consider booking my profits. This is a decent profit, and I believe it's still a hold, as there's a more likelihood of us going further up in the stock. Now the next one is BPCL, Bharat Petroleum. Now when we load the charts of Bharat Petroleum is also at an important point, and it is very similar to a chart which I had covered last week, which were Escorts and Aditya Birla, and if you see, both of them have played out exactly and have given everybody who traded them a very good profit. So now how do I see Bharat Petroleum? Now Bharat Petroleum's main problem is 50-day moving average is currently being resistance, and then there's a simple candle resistance at 619.30 that has been stopping the stock from a good amount of time. Now why I am choosing to focus on the stock now, number one, my trend catch indicator is hovering around the zero mark. It's coming up and down, basically trying to snag the line. If it's able to have a clear breakout above the zero mark, it will enter back to bullish territory, and that will bring the volume back up, which will end up taking it to the resistance at 660 and 698. Now Bharat Petroleum is also a stock I entered last week, and how I'm going to continue, provided it holds above the support at 555 and 572, I will continue holding the stock with an expectation of it breaking the resistance at 619 and going at to 660 and 698. However, this will be a bit more of a patient play. This week's even Fed announcement will cause a bit of noise to form here, but the minute it breaks this resistance, the indicators will basically shove it back and cause a pop-up to 660 and 698 in a rather quick manner. So that's it for today's video. If you did like the video, then do hit the like button and also subscribe to our channel, and thank you for watching.